And that was right where I found you.
Mm.
And I remember our first conversation, Cheryl. And let's fast forward for a moment where I have a successful career. I run a successful company, and I've been able to create things, just opportunities in my life that I didn't think were possible. I didn't even think it would be possible to hope for them.
Well, hello, Whitney. Thank you so much for being here. This is so amazing. I can't believe you're doing this. So happy to have you.
Such a pleasure. And before you dive in, I would just like to, I was reflecting on coaching with you way back in the day, 4 years ago. And you would start all of our calls with what's changed in your thinking
Right.
last week into this week? And I didn't really truly understand that question until probably about 2 years ago. And it is one of the most valuable questions I think anyone has ever asked me.
Wow. Wow, what a way to kick this off. Thank you for saying that, Whitney. And I'd love to hear how your thinking has changed. But for those of our viewers and listeners who don't know you yet, Whitney, let's dive into a little bit about you and what you do. Would you like to share, please?
Absolutely. So I'll roll up my sleeves and say, so I'm Whitney. So happy that you found Cheryl and circuitously are also listening to me talk for a little bit. So I founded a company called The Wellness Blueprint. We're a virtual group fitness events and workshop platform. The heart of what we do is accessible fitness. So if you're newer to gyms or newer to workouts, or maybe you don't have the financial means or the physical means to really get into a classic gym space, we're there for you. We also have workouts that feel like play. So, with our coaches, with our programming, everything from boot camp juggling to balance boards basics classes to hit remix classes, we deliver that to you. And on the coaching side of things, what I've done with my career is build careers for other instructors and coaches. So if you're newer to the industry and you want to create a career for yourself within a wellness blueprint or beyond, one of the great joys of what I do is help give you a platform to learn and grow and become your own business person within the fitness industry. So
Oh,
accessible fitness in a scalable model, workouts that feel like play, and to be able to create careers for people in my industry. So that's the backbone of what we do. And for anyone that's interested, I can drop a link and you can fill out a quick survey. It's called Get My Wellness Blueprint. You can hop on a call with me and you can just tell me all of your deep, dark fitness secrets, or I can help guide you in any direction that you want to go, absolutely for free. Because to be honest, this portion of what I do is not for profit in the sense that I was able to create a platform that helps people in as many ways as possible.
that's inspiring, Whitney. That's really inspiring that you've grown so much because it's been a few years since we connected. But let's take this back a little bit. What inspired you to move into the fitness industry in the first place? How long have you been at this?
Such a good question. So I've been in fitness for a little over 22 years now. I have a fine arts degree. I never played sports, 3 seasons of PE, and I took a yoga class when I was about 18 and instantly just loved it. It was like, holy crap, when you just have it, you're like, this is what's missing in my life.
Yeah.
Quickly became certified and started teaching. I just pretty much knocked on every door of every gym and yoga studio I could to see if I could get a class on the schedule. And that's how I started. I fell into personal training because I didn't know what I wanted to do next, but knew that I wanted to test the waters and try something. Instantly loved personal training. I still remember my very first client. And what I loved about it the most, biomechanics are awesome, programming is awesome, but really feeling like I ended my day, Cheryl, knowing that I'd helped someone. I was instantly hooked. Flash forward from there, built fitness programming for larger organizations, worked with a climbing gym for about 8 years, and that was predominantly building teams, creating fitness programs. So deciding we're going to run this kind of class, we're going to have this kind of event, and to be able to again, start to build careers for coaches within that. So program design work is where I landed next.
Wow, that's phenomenal. 22 years, that's a really long time, Whitney.
I wear sunblock. I'm a little older than I look.
Okay, so in the past 22 years, what would you say have been the biggest challenges that you faced in growing your business from where it was to where it is today? And how did you
Mm.
overcome
I never really wanted to start a business.
them?
So, to be honest, starting a business was never anything I was interested in. I was laid off very suddenly from my last actual career, my last actual career job, and I was set to move to New York to launch the next facility. And instead, they had to cut one of the highest paid salaried people that was there. You
Mm,
answer to investors, had nothing to do with merit. I was let go in a day. And it was the best thing to ever happen for me. So then from there, I was deciding, what do I want to do? Do I want to apply to work with gyms again? Do I want to be on launch teams? Do I want to start my own business? I don't think so because I love people. And that was right where I found you.
mm,
And I remember our first conversation, Cheryl. And let's fast forward for a moment where I have a successful career. I run a successful company, and I've been able to create things, just opportunities in my life that I didn't think were possible. I didn't even think it would be possible to hope for them. My partner is out climbing right now, and I'm in this gorgeous place working remotely from Maine in the US.
beautiful.
And I work 3 days a week. And so thinking about how did I get there? How did I get to this stage where I have the most amazing man in my life? And I pinch myself multiple times over the course of the day because I cannot believe that I am where I am with my career and my life. So, what's been the most challenging piece of starting a business? 100% been sorting out the rat's nest that initially was my mind. And I
Mm.
remember our first call that we had together. I was in a waiting room at a YMCA, which is a gym chain that's mostly, I think, no, they're all over the US, having a coaching call with you, our initial coaching call, Cheryl. And you say to me, I I come to you and I say, I want to coach on business. And you say, okay, that sounds great. Are you sure? And I say, yes, I want to coach on business. And you say, all right, are you sure? And then I say, oh, no, I need to coach on boys. And you and I coached together. You were my first coach, and we coached on making decisions within a relationship that ultimately was not a good fit. And I'm saying this all because this applies directly to business mindset and business growth, because everything that I learned through coaching with you on relationships, I was able to apply and move to coach myself on for business. So the most challenging pieces, I think, are understanding that whatever feelings you're feeling, it comes from your thoughts, and
Mm.
you can choose those. And you can choose those in the moment, and you can strengthen that muscle to talk back to whatever feelings are happening. If you're feeling anxious, it's because of your brain, and that's okay.
Wow. I'm really touched. It's been a long time, and I'm so happy to hear that you still remember what we spoke about.
And I was in the basement, like in the waiting room of a YMCA, because I felt like
Amazing.
at the moment I didn't have the time to
Yeah,
actually sit down somewhere quiet and have a first coaching call with you. I, my brain thought that I was too busy. There was too much going on to be able to sit down and focus. That's where I was exactly 4 years ago.
that's amazing, Whitney. So that's where you were 4 years ago. And what challenges did you predominantly work through coaching? What do you feel was really the breakthrough that you experienced because of coaching?
Breakthroughs are an interesting word. And I love that word because some people assume that a breakthrough is, a moment where the universe opens up and, you see the light from above or below or whatever you believe in. And there can also be mini breakthroughs where you make these small decisions over and over and over again. So my work with you, it mostly revolved around relationships. And again, I wanted to work with you to coach on business, and it's so goofy that we did a little bit of that. But through coaching on relationships, you were able to make me more successful than I ever even dreamed was possible. So I felt it was more of those mini decisions that I was making in the moment of, do I go with what's safe and secure, even though I know that it's not a good fit for me or the other person? Or do I take a risk, go against what my brain is thinking, but ultimately trust in maintaining my word to myself and trust that if I push, I'll be able to get exactly where I want to go.
So good. So good. What then from the work that we did together, these small, minute changes that you're talking about, what's the lasting change that you have witnessed?
You and I worked in one session in particular on the rhetoric that we use to speak to ourselves. And I still use that rhetoric with my personal training clients. And I'm actually now certified through the life coach school, Brooke Castillo, to work with clients as well. You inspired me to become a certified life coach.
Wow,
Um, you
that's
talked about bridge thoughts and you
mm,
talked about the rhetoric that we use to speak to ourselves and to speak to somebody else. And an example of that would be with my weight maintenance clients.
mm,
It's really hard for us to go from I hate my fat ass to I love my ass.
mm,
But what's a bridge thought in between that you could start to apply over and over and over again? How do you want to, in the moment, say, I have an ass? Just neutralize it. And the more you shift away from, I hate my fat ass to I have an ass, the closer you're going to be able to train your brain, just like a bicep curl, to be able to move in the direction of maybe I love my ass. And so, an example of that, just with business, to put it into that context, would be if you're deciding this business is never going to work, it's going to fail. If deep down that is your fear, we're going to operate from that mindset. We're going to operate from that graspy, oh my God, please buy what I have to offer. Please buy it.
mm.
People can smell that from a mile away. But if we treat each challenge, each failure as I'm that much closer because now I know what not to do. I'm that much closer because I had this hiccup. This client canceled. This person said no to whatever I had to offer. Great. That means I'm that much closer. Operating from that mindset, and it's a subtle shift. The other thing about Maine is there are flies everywhere. It's a subtle shift. But the more you train yourself over and over and over again to say, I didn't fail, I'm that much closer.
Right,
I don't have a fat ass, I have an ass.
right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. That's beautiful. And that's perhaps going to be your advice for those who are starting off in business or want to be in the fitness industry. Is that going to be your advice to them? Which is shift
I
the way you
think
look at failure?
I think that you could, Cheryl, apply your coaching to anything in life because, yes, you are a goddess in the business coaching world. However, you were able to coach me so adeptly on romantic relationships. And then I was able to take that and apply it directly to business. So, yes, I think if you're brand new starting a business and, and if there was ever a way to build a bulletproof brain, it'd be to become an entrepreneur, honestly, hands down. And so if you're in that stage right now where you're like thinking, this is me, I'm struggling, I'm knocking on so many doors and everyone's slamming them behind me, how could you start to just minutely shift that to that door slammed? That means I'm going to be that much closer to finding one that opens and lets me in.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh, that's really good. That's really powerful, Whitney. And do you feel then that coaching is valuable to an entrepreneur? And if yes, how? What do you think is the value it brought to you?
Mm. What have you noticed for yourself, Cheryl?
With
What's one example in your life that you've noticed for coaching? being a valuable shift for you? Let me punt that question back to you first. I have an answer.
Geez, I probably have a list of 100. So, and I'm just thinking, which one do I go with? I have two or three different like experts that I'm working with, call them coaches or whatever at any given time, and it's invaluable. That's what I would say. So having someone to sound my ideas off of, to help cement my ideas, to come up with accountability. So the list is literally like at least 100, but I want to hear from you because I can't be too
So,
horn.
and also like you're such a dear friend at this point. It's like so great to catch up with you too. From my perspective, there's really nothing or few things more valuable than investing in your brain.
Mm,
Because
beautiful.
if you think about it, if you want to lose weight, maintain your weight, if you want to build muscle, if you want to wake up every morning and go for that run, if you want to wake up every morning and build that business plan, if you want to wake up and send out those 5,000 emails and cold call people, if your brain isn't managed, it's going to be probably a lot harder for you to do it or to do it consistently. So, from my perspective, anything in life that you feel like you're struggling with, you could probably benefit from coaching. I have my own coach now, and honestly, I could not think of a better way to spend my money.
Love that, Whitney. You're so right. It all starts in the mind. You're absolutely right. Well, that's great. I mean, anything else that you feel you'd like others to know about our coaching experience?
I would honestly say if you are debating working with a coach, or working with someone like Cheryl, or working with Cheryl directly, um, it's worth the investment always. Because again, we're talking about business, and think about my backstory where I was in the waiting room thinking I didn't have enough time trying to do an intro coaching call with you. And then, my relationships were not where I wanted them to be. My business was not where I wanted it to be. My life was nowhere where I wanted it to be. Flash forward 4 years, and I'm sitting here working 3 days a week from a gorgeous cabin. My partner is out there climbing rocks right now. And then we're going to have dinner and sit in a hot tub together. I'm able to create meaningful careers for people. I'm able to create a meaningful space for people to get healthier and stronger. And I'm able to make really good money coaching people and doing it.
Wow. That's a mic drop moment. I mean, it really just wraps everything up.
Well,
Thank
everyone's welcome
you.
in the hot tub. There's room for six. So this isn't, I don't think this is that kind of video.
I'm so happy for all the success that you've achieved. I really am. Whitney, if somebody wants to work with you as a personal trainer, is that a possibility? And if yes, how?
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, part of my background is in personal training for the past 22 years. Why I got the life coaching certification is that, again, it all starts with the brain. Yes, I built workout plans for people. Yes, I built nutrition plans for people. However, we typically aren't likely to follow it consistently due to our brains. So, with someone like me, you will get the fun dovetail interplay of life coaching, mind management, and also workouts that are designed specifically for you. One of the benefits from having done this for a very, very, very long time is that I can work with just about anyone on just about anything. And I feel like there's no better way to strengthen your biceps than strengthening your mind to go with it. So, my suggestion is if you're just curious, I can drop either a link in the chat or you can put it in your show notes of Get My Wellness Blueprint. You fill out a quick survey, I get an immediate ping, and you and I can hop on a super quick call, kind of like a Zoom, and you can just tell me more. And you'd always be welcome to work with me or one of my coaches, or I just love to give you a little bit of perspective. Again, I would love to offer as much as possible to help get people to as successful and as happy a place as you were able to help me.
Oh, that's so kind, Whitney. Well, thank you so much. We're definitely going to post that link in the show notes. And I just want
Done.
to say thank you once again. It was amazing catching up with you. And hopefully, we'll meet up in the next 2 years and see you do another 10x jump. How about that?
Oh, and I would love all of your listeners and viewers to come right along with me. And again, Cheryl Pinto, you kickstarted where I am right now. And I cannot thank you enough for helping me just train my brain to be able to be as successful as I am. And as I said when we hopped on, you and I are just getting warmed up, girl. Let's
Love
take
it.
as many people with us as possible.
You got it. Thank you, Whitney. Lots of love.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.